Hello, 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 hello. How are we doing? I am hoping that my mic levels are good and that I can be heard and that everything is exactly as it should be. Just give me one moment. Just give me one moment. Hello, Steph. Can you hear me okay? Not me hitting live without 100% checking that I'm okay to go. Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Hey everyone. Welcome to another solo spotlight stream. This one now you you might be thinking, if you have been to me streaming this game before, Kat, you appear to be streaming a game again that you've already streamed in a solo spotlight stream. What is happening here? How has this happened? I say finally, I've not been streaming that long, but it happened. It's finally happened. I did some foolishness with a VOD and forgot to, or it did not export to YouTube correctly in time, and then I didn't realize until it was too late, and I lost said VOD, which was devastating for me. But then I realized that it provided me an excellent opportunity to get to play this game again. Or what I should say is that I will be recapping what I kind of did last time, because I was really enjoying that story. And I'll be kind of going through it fairly speedily, but hopefully at a pace that everyone can kind of understand and get an idea of the mechanics and how it works. And then I will be continuing on with that same story until it gets late here and I grow tired. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to get back into this game. For what we will be playing today is For Small Creatures Such as We, which is a game by Anna Blackwell. Let me just put the command. I hope I've done the right. Yeah, I did. I was like, I hope I've done the right series of letters here in Moobot. Yeah, it's a game by Anna Blackwell. It's a solo game, but you can play it in co-op as well. Hello, Alec. How are you doing? Hello, Alec. Hello, Ina. I hope that the two of you are doing very, very well. It's nice to see people filing in. It is a solo and co-op sci-fi game. You explore space within it. You kind of create and connect with alien species and travel the galaxy. And you get to create like a captain and a crew. You choose their skills. You customize your ship. What I love about this game, or what I really started to get to grips with when I got to play this game before, was that it is an incredibly in-depth game. And I love in-depth games. The other one that I know that Anna has written, which I absolutely adore, is Apothecaria. And I have plans, once I've got some life bits in order, to create like a rather than just doing a solo spotlight on Apothecaria, I want to create like an actual streaming series on Apothecaria, because boy howdy does that game make my soul light up. And it was the first solo game that I ever played, and it made me love solo games in the way that I do. So yeah, exactly. I would love. I want to do like a proper, like an ongoing series. I'll probably end up pre-recording it and like editing it down, putting like music in the background and little sound effects, and doing something really fun with it. And I have some hopefully really cool ideas. So I'm very excited about that project, but that will require me to be in a less in a different space than I am at the moment. But I have plans, don't you worry. Hello, DC Bradshaw. I did not ignore you coming in there. I was just in the middle of a sentence and wanted to finish it because I keep interrupting where in sentences. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for joining us. We're playing For Small Creatures Such as We by Anna Blackwell. Incredible solo game. Incredible solo game designer. I will explain to you, as I explained at the beginning, that I have in fact already played this game on a solo spotlight stream and enjoyed it immensely, or began to kind of get into it and enjoy it immensely, and then promptly and foolishly lost the VOD for it before I could get it exported over onto YouTube. So I am playing the game again, because it just itches my brain that I know that I have played it and there is no record of it anywhere, which that just upsets me. And B, I enjoyed it immensely and it gives me a chance to enjoy it again. So we will be playing the story that I played before. I will recap and kind of go over kind of how I created the captain, created the crew, what that looks like. I've been incredibly busy in preparing for this stream and making it all look nice and pretty. I found a writing tool called Campfire, which has allowed me to create a really interesting way of organizing all this information that I'm very excited to show you all. And yeah, we're gonna hopefully have a lot of fun, and I hope that you're going to enjoy the story that is made here. And, well, let's get into it, shall we? So, let me just switch over here. So, hello, everyone. This is the beginning of me writing, and in fact, I will probably, what I would do is I'm going to get rid of that chat box there for a moment. There we go. So, this is Campfire. But we're not really here to talk about Campfire. This is my captain that I have created. When you play For Small Creatures Such as We, it's a really easy game to play in terms of what you need. You really need only like a few d6, a deck of cards with jokers inside, and that is the basis of how you kind of generate prompts, and that's really all you need, and obviously a place to record your thoughts. Instantly, even just looking at this, you're probably thinking, whoa, that's a lot of information, Kat. And let me assure you that it doesn't stop there. This is Sophia. This is our Captain Sophia. She has a lot of pages all to herself. And then there is also other characters, my manuscript, some locations. Don't be alarmed. We're going to go through all of it, at least briefly, and get to understand it all. So the way that the game starts is you create your captain. And last time when I played this, there was a little like, let me get it up, rules reference here. So this is how you begin to create your captain, and I didn't show this last time, and I was kicking myself for not having this this graphic on hand, because it's actually the moment that I started playing and I saw this graphic, like this hex graphic, it really excited me. I was like, oh, this is a really cool way of creating a character. The way it works here is essentially when you create your captain, because that is where you start, you pick a childhood, which is kind of like that that green hex right in the center. You then pick a adolescence, as it were, which is the sort of orange ring around it, and an adulthood, which is the pink ring that goes around sort of at the edge, on the outer edge. Anna has kind of lined them up so that you would, so that if you look at like Earthchild, for example, the Wild Soul, Cadet, and Student, orange hexes that kind of are next to it, make a good amount of sense for that adolescence if you had that childhood. And equally, deserter, soldier, scientist for cadet, scientist, mentor for student, and mentor. It kind of goes in that pathway that makes that level of sense. But that's not to say that you have to do that, and that's certainly not what I did. I looked at it and I went, well, I want to be a pirate kid. So that is what I ended up choosing for Sophia. I want to then become a racer as our adolescents, and then I jumped over to bounty hunter because I thought bounty hunter sounds really cool. And I kind of read through them and I really enjoyed like what bounty hunter gave you, and each of these gives you like a sort of set of skills or a set of starting assets or equipment and things like that, so that you can kind of have a base to start off from. And yes, I 100% agree with you, Steph. Anna is an incredibly clever game designer, and just it's so interesting to me that I just looked at this graphic and I was like, okay, yes, this is everything that I could possibly want in a game. This game is going to excite me. Excuse me just one moment. I always forget to charge these up before I go live, and then I'm like, oh no, it's running out of battery, and now I have to be plugged in. So let's go back to Sophia here. Move that back. Move this. Okay, so Sophia, if I get it on my here. When we are character creating, you start off with base stats. It is 10 health, 1,000 currency. I actually started with 900 before the game began, even though I'm supposed to start with 1,000. The reason why is when I built my ship, I dipped into my currency pool so that I could add one more little asset to my ship, because I needed that 100 currency. But then during gameplay and the last time I played this, I kind of earned that 100 back. So we're back at 1,000. I start with reputation. Most playthroughs start with 0 reputation. The only reason that I have 5 is because I have 5 criminal reputation, which you will see is written right there, and I start with 0 heat. Over here where it says backstory, this is where I have kind of written the details of what I ended up deciding on for my that sort of hex that I just showed you. I decided on Pirate Kid, which gave me that criminal reputation that I just told you about. It gave me 2 criminal contacts, which I will show you in just one moment. And it gave me the ability to, every 10 cycles, generate a crime mission of that current mission class. As you can see, in-depth game, right? Like, just even me talking about this, I'm like, damn, this sounds so in-depth. And it is, but it's in-depth in a really good way. And the way that the book is laid out is just, it's so easy to understand when you're reading through it. And, like, Anna has done a really good job of, like, just, like, kind of giving you the information of exactly what pages to find the information that you need on, so that you can play this very quickly and very easily, even though there's a lot in there. My adolescence, my racer adolescence, has given me the pilot skill and the and a rival. When I last played this, Jen was here, and the moment I said rival, Jen was like, rival, you say? You can imagine why that caused a lot of excitement. And yes, I probably will end up going down that rivals to lovers route, but we'll see where the story takes us. Then I then chose bounty hunter as the adulthood, and what your adulthood does is it gives you like a little skill, which here it says draw twice during tracking events. So if I do bounty hunting missions, there are tracking events for those missions, and I will be able to kind of draw 2 cards and choose which prompt I want to go with, essentially, rather than just drawing 1. I've also been given a goal as a result of that, which I believe is on a different page, and I'll show you in a moment. That's my overarching goal for the game. That's what I want to like kind of work towards, and it kind of drives the story. I've chosen to be what's called underorders. You can choose that, or sometimes the choices that you make you under orders. Like if you choose to be a soldier, for example, then you are under orders, you are under the military's orders. Even though I've chosen a lot of crime-based things, it didn't give me that, but I chose to be, just because I thought it made for an interesting story beat. So I've chosen to be under the orders of a crime family. I do not have to pay for fuel, food, and docking as a result, which does make things significantly easier. But what I will probably do is, because it is a crime family, and crime families don't tend to be as generous as, say, I don't want to say as corporations, but like the corporations are normally made to give things by policy, whereas crime families are doing it just because it only if it benefits them. After each successful mission, I'll get to roll 1d6 for a chance of a promotion. So on a 6 gain 1,000, that should have the currency symbol, so apologies. 1,000 currency, 2 free cycles, so 2 free days. Cycles are another way of saying days in this game. And a gift. That gift, by the way, it tells you is like a valueless gift. It's like if you were getting it from a corporation, it's like getting like a mug or like a certificate or something. Failed missions and missed deadlines are subject to punishment. And in the book, I've not written it out here, but in the book it does kind of give you what the crime family's punishments will be if you fail to do things, or if you miss deadlines, or if you just generally make them mad. The crime family I've gone with, we ended up going with, when we played before, people started going a little bit Shakespearean in the chat, so they are the Montagues. They are one of the wealthiest families in the galaxy and have an extensive reach, and they have a big rival known as the Capulets. And the two often get into great disputes. So that is what that's what we've gone with there. What my adulthood gave me, I mentioned it gave me a mission. Now I've got to find where I have written that. Oh, here we are in this handy bit that I've called missions. That's really good of me that I've done that, isn't it? That's not normal for me. I have a overarching goal, which is to track down the person that set the Mercutio ablaze. Do I bite my thumb at you, Kat? Absolutely. Every time. Incredible reference. The Mercutio is the ship on which I grew up. It resulted in the death of Eric, which is the first mate to my old captain, Stevie, and one of my crew members named Stu was their best friend. We will get to know those people momentarily. And the loss of the Banshee. I mentioned that my captain that I have made is a shuttle racer, or had a race at adolescence, so they had a shuttle on board the Mercutio called the Banshee, and that was lost in this fire, and my job is to try to track down the person responsible for setting that fire ablaze. So in order to do that, I will need to find clues on who or where they are. Every time I complete a bounty hunting mission, I roll a d6. On a 6, I will gain a clue. When I have 10 clues, I can start a bounty hunting mission to hunt that person or the people responsible, or figure that out. And I get to kind of choose what that looks like as I gain clues. I get to choose what the clues are. So I will come back to this in just a moment. Let's have a little look, because I mentioned that I had been given some contacts. So I've been given 2 criminal contacts and a rival. And that comes under here, I believe. Yes. Oh no, that's not. This is just like an overview of it. But let me get more detail on it. Here we go. So this is these are my 2. The top 2 are my 2 criminal contacts. This is Captain Stevie Briggs. No one really knows about my parents or where I came from, and Stevie said it didn't much matter anyway. I was part of their crew, so I was family. They taught me everything I needed to start out in life, criminal and otherwise. They always knew how to cheer me up or cheer me on, and I'm lucky really. Most know me as Sophie, but I'll always be Sparky to them. I've Stevie to thank for teaching me how to drive a shuttle too. I'd never become a racer if they didn't see my potential first. I was way too young to be driving it, but that's the life of a pirate. When you choose your childhood and your sort of adolescence and even your adulthood, it gives you like little prompts to answer. And one of the questions for this one was what was your first crime? So I decided that Sophia's first crime was underage driving, was being the getaway driver, as it were, in a shuttle. So everyone else was kind of going in there performing the heist, and Sophia's job was to wait outside in the shuttle and get them away afterwards. I also gave me another criminal contact. I thought, I've got a really nice one, a really wholesome one, so I need an arsehole. We called him Boris. That was Anna's suggestion, actually, and I'm sure we can all imagine, especially if you're British, you might be able to imagine why we called an arsehole Boris. Human is the species, probably one of the most influential figures in my life. He's opened a lot of doors, it's true. He's also a wanker. But I have to behave around him. He tolerates my sass, but his employers won't, and he could rat on me any day now. I met him when he came to Stevie with a job, a heist. It paid well, and I was the getaway shuttle, of course. When he saw me drive, he said I had something special. The Montagues were looking to get into racing, and they needed a champion. I became that, thanks to Boris. I still hate him though. Yeah, he is a dick, and I don't think he has any redeeming qualities. But he's like the sort of the fence between me and the communicator between me and the Montagues. So kind of need him, unfortunately. The other person, Zephyr, we've gone with. This is my racing rival. And this came with my adolescence that I chose, my racing adolescence. So when I first came on the circuit scene, Zeph was my trainer. He taught me how to race, how to fix both ship and shuttle, even some navigation stuff. Effortlessly charming, with eyes that burn brighter than 1,000 suns. Yeah, that's a bit cheesy, that's a bit corny. But they are very gold. I've gone very gold with the eyes. It hurt when he betrayed us. Now he is my biggest threat in any race I run, and he's under the protection of the Capulets, so we can't touch him. I haven't spoken to him since, not just because I'm not allowed. He's tried to catch me a couple of times before the race, but now he doesn't bother. Just stares at me sometimes. I can't mistake it for sentimentality, though. He's as ruthless as ever when it comes to the race, as ruthless as he taught me to be. So those are kind of like my three background figures that I've chosen to go with. These are the 2 criminal contacts, and then I've got 1 rival for my racing. Let's see what else we have with Sophia, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So I've gone with this overview here. Yes, so next up, I got to choose my skills. Obviously, so normally when you choose your skills for when you choose your skills for your captain, you get to choose 2 primary skills and 1 secondary skill. I have 3 primary skills because my adolescence gave me the pilot skill. So I also get to choose 2 on top of that. So I chose pilot, which gives me the ability to draw a second card during shuttle races, and I could also enter asteroid fields. I chose navigator. Once per journey, I can move 1 hex without using any fuel as we find an efficient route. And I chose engineer, may attempt to repair the ship. So I went for a very, like, self-sufficient, like, if I was the only one on the ship, I could drive it, fix it, and navigate it just fine. Because I felt like that felt very Sophia. She's grown up in a sort of pirate ship, but she's quite an independent, solitary person who likes her own company. So I think that having a crew actually and being like being a captain, she's probably good at giving orders. She's probably good at having her crew's back, but she's also probably very self-sufficient. For the secondary skill, I chose hiding, reduce the amount of heat you gain from any source by 1. I chose that because a lot of the missions I'm going to be getting are bounty hunting missions or criminal missions, and I felt like those things are probably going to get me a lot of heat, so I'm going to need to have to be able to reduce heat when and where I can. Hiding felt thematically appropriate. Titles here, currently I'm a Moon class captain. That's the only title I have. Moon class captain is basically what you start with. There is no real benefit at all. It literally says no benefit. I love the implication that just about anybody can basically be a Moon class captain, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, that hasn't really come into play yet, but I've got it written there because obviously this is set up for my long-term playthrough of this, and I need to have that written all out. Okay, so I've done people, I've looked at missions, sort of. The mission classes here, you start on an F of all of them, and you can see there's quite a few different mission classes to choose from. Passenger, retrieval, pursue, cargo, diplomacy, sales, exploration, bounty. That's the one that's going to be quite key to my character. Bounty hunting, research, and criminal. Criminal is at an E, whereas all the others are at an F, because I already have 5 criminal reputation, and you unlock the next sort of there's a formula to unlocking the next class, and you basically make your way up to A. You start at F and make your way up to A, and I have unlocked criminal at E, which makes sense, I think, in terms of the story. Bounty hunting is still at an F. As a bounty hunter, that's concerning, but it's fine. I have an accepted mission board, and when I show you like my playthrough and what I've written down, it will give you a little bit more detail about this, but essentially I have been tasked with tracking down Victor, a member of a rival gang under Montague command. So he is supposed to be on my side. He's under my crime family's command, but he has been bad for business and needs to be taught a lesson. I must incapacitate him and bring him to the rendezvous point, which I have yet to determine what that is. And he was last seen on a planet called Luck. Second absolute favorite thing about this game is the planets that Anna has created are just like incredible. They're just so they've got like they're not too detailed, I don't think, in terms of it doesn't give so much information that it's overwhelming. It really allows you to play with the themes of each planet, but each planet does have a theme, and I will show you I will show you luck just so that we can kind of get an example of that. There we go. So, it is a little clunky, the UI for this. It can be a little clunky. So, luck. This opulent space station holds the distinct honor of being the most popular casino in the entire galaxy. Some of the most famous sapients got their big break right here. Visitors are advised that Luck is home to some less than reputable sapients, and that many games are designed in favor of the house. So essentially, each planet has like a shtick. There's like planets, let me think of some other examples. There's a planet called Harvest, and their whole thing is like being this really peaceful like farming valley, farming community. There's Luck, which is the space station casino. There's Port Freedom, which is your classic criminal planet. It's where all the really unsavory people live. There are some in other places, but like Port Freedom is the nobody goes to Port Freedom type planet, unless you know what you're doing. Ruin, that's another one that I have here. Ruin is the home to an advanced sapient species. Ruin now serves as a vast xeno-archaeological dig site for museums and private collectors across the galaxy. Most settlements here are in an uneasy alliance against the threat of old security systems and dangerous animals that have survived the planet's ecological collapse. So this is basically like your planet filled with ancient history. I have this one here because that's where we've just come from in the story, so I just kind of wanted to be able to reference it if I needed it. But yeah, this one is, you can see that, and by the way, the art is gorgeous as well. For each of these planets, they have a little header at the top and some really interesting, cool art. And I really enjoy the way that this is laid out to have all of the very relevant key information on it. It tells you what the fuel costs are, the food costs are, the docking costs. It tells you like the key opportunities that you'd find at that planet. So, there's always need of transport. Each planet has a few unique services. And then down the side here, you can see like this rocket symbol is grayed out, but the wrench, the doctor symbol, and the racing symbol are in blue. So, the doctor symbol is basically for if you need healing and you don't have a doctor on your ship. You will have to go to a planet that has a doctor in order to be healed, basically. But only some planets have them. Similarly with the wrench, I believe that's a repair, and it's a similar thing. My pilot, as I mentioned, can repair things, so hopefully won't need to do that. But it is still a role. It does still involve drawing cards, so there is a chance that you can try to repair something and fail and have to go and use one of these services anyway. The top one, I'm thinking that's to do with system installation. I would have to check to 100% be sure, but when you build your ship has a number of systems, like system slots that you can have, and like a number of rooms that you can install, basically. And some planets have the ability for you to kind of stop at that planet and install systems. Ruin, as it happens, is not one of them. But you can have a race there, which I thought is quite cool. And it will be relevant. Will be relevant later down the line for my character, I'm sure. Cool. I believe that is everything for the captain creation. Yeah, that's everything for the captain creation, because we'll come back to the Valkyrie, because that will be the ship creation. But first, we get to the next really exciting bit, and we look at the crew that have been created. So, when you begin a game, you start with 3 crew members. I have 4, and that will be explained. And you essentially draw for their they can have a number of traits, which is traits relevant to their species. You draw in order to see what traits each of your crew members have, and you choose a primary and a secondary skill for them. So whereas you as the captain get 2 primary skills, everyone else on your ship gets 1, unless a trait gives them an extra one, as it were. Also, hello Euphoria AP, hello Rara Storytime. I did see you come in, and my brain went, oh, I must say hello to them in a minute, and then I didn't get past the talking stage. But thank you for joining, thank you for lurking, always good to see you here. Yes, so you start off with by choosing their traits. So I ended up, or drawing for their traits, I ended up drawing many-limbed, charismatic, and food producer for our lovely Stu. And I did call him Stu on purpose because I decided this is going to be my chef. That's the primary skill I've gone with. Food need for the crew is reduced by 1. That will become very useful, by the way. So 3 crew would eat 2 food. This effect does not stack with other chefs. Could you imagine if it did? I can absolutely see why Anna's done that. Obsession is the secondary skill that I've chosen. During any event, you may draw a card to see if your obsession is relevant. If you draw an ace, it is! You may draw an extra card and use it for any challenges in the event or give yourself an edge in the narrative. So the obsession that I've gone with for Stu is games. Games of any kind, I think. Video games, card games, board games, tabletop games. They're just obsessed with games and gaming, and they have a very big collection of that. And then I've kind of written out their bio. You can see here that they have stats: 10 out of 10 health, 8 out of 8 happiness, 4 out of 7 shore leave. Those things affect each other. So as you are traveling through space, the shore leave of your crew members begins to deplete. Shore leave basically stands for how restless they are, being kind of stuck on the ship, and how much they want to get off. I believe you start with 6 shore leave, but one of my crew members has a skill that bumped everyone up to 7. And then as your shore leave runs out, that then starts to affect their happiness. So then they start to become unhappy, basically. And their health, that is kind of self-explanatory. I think that's down to if they get hurt or injured, or there are some traits that they might end up with. One of mine does have a trait that affects their health if they don't have certain conditions on the ship. But that doesn't apply to Stu here. Stu is a Duxel species. I'm not great at naming things like this. I genuinely went onto like an alien species generator. So you'll forgive me for the very not original sounding species names. But Stu is my oldest friend. He actually came with me from Stevie's ship, the Mikushio, and for a while it was just the 2 of us. I think they sent him with me to keep an eye on me, though he claims it was entirely his choice. The 2 of them talk a lot, even when I'm not around. He kept telling me that good food and a fast ship is great, but I'd need better skills than that on board if we were to be really successful. I don't just keep him around for the meals he makes. Can I make this a bit easier? Yes, I can. Where was I? I don't just keep him around for the meals he makes, though it is excellent and keeps me in touch with where I came from. I like that Stu has the very thing I often lack: charisma, likability. They connect with people in a way that I find difficult, and you need to be able to do it or have someone do it for you in order to captain a ship of your own. I've learned a lot from Stu about life in general, and despite the fact that I'm prone to pessimism, or so he says, he's only ever lost his temper with me once. He ignored me for over a week, and I'll never hold it against him. I really deserved it, even if it was an accident. I'm forever grateful for his guidance. He's family. He was devastated when we lost the Mercutio. It was the first time I ever saw him cry. Eric was a close friend of his. And I know he is driven by the same level of vengeance than I am. I have to say though, Stu hides it better. Their gaming obsession drives many of us a little up the wall, especially Dax, who has to organise the hoarding of vintage board games, card decks, instruction booklets, etc. I don't see Dax complaining too much when he wins the games they play, though it doesn't happen often. Half the time he's cheating or making the rules up as he goes along, but if it makes him happy, I'll put up with it. He's handy in a pinch that requires quick improvisation too, which shouldn't be too surprising given that he has 4 hands to be handy with. It gives him the fascinating ability to just pull exactly what you need from seemingly nowhere, especially if it's food. So yeah, Stu has been given the traits many-limbed, charismatic, and food producer. They come with questions, as you can see. What advantages does this confer? If they have many limbs, for example. And for me, I've just decided, he's a chef. He probably does a lot of like food preparation, different food prep stuff happening at the same time. And it probably helps him cheat when he plays games too. Food producer gives you like the ability to draw a card and gain food equal to its value once per journey. I like the idea that it's just like, oh, I happen to have found this food, or if we visit a planet, he will kind of find a way of getting hold of like a rare spice or a rare ingredient or something without it costing us any kind of money. Charismatic, once per planet, gain a random mission or draw a card and gain currency equal to its value. I haven't actually named this currency. I just keep thinking the word currency, and I think I might just stick with it, to be honest. It makes sense. So that's Stu. My next crewmate is let me get rid of this. Is Halma. The traits that Halma has are ageless. Once they mature, this crewmate species doesn't age biologically. Halma is deaf. They are unable to hear. How do you communicate with them? And Halma sheds. Every 30 cycles, this crewmate sheds their scales and hair. She's the ship's doctor. So once per journey, increase a crewmate's health by 1, cannot go above maximum health, and also a historian. Valuables from delves. So that's a kind of mission that you can do. You can kind of delve from it's actually a lot. You could probably do it on Ruin very well, and those delves will be worth 150 currency instead of 100, which is quite nice. Little bit of extra money there. I liked the idea of having a doctor on board. I felt like I've created a criminal, a bit of a criminal crew, and we're probably going to get into some scraps, and we're probably going to get hurt, and it's going to be a bit of a pain having to try to find planets that have doctors on board. So I thought it would be quite important to make sure I had a doctor on board. So bio. I met Halma when I purchased the Valkyrie. So that's the name of the ship that we have now. So the Mercutio is obviously the old ship that I grew up on, but this is the Valkyrie. This is Sophia's ship. And she was the second to join my crew. She was a friend of its seller who offered a discount if I could get Halma to the planet Ruin to visit her family. I agreed. It was on the way to where I was going, and we became comfortably friends very quickly. I don't make friends easily, so that's pretty impressive, but Halma enjoys solitude in the same way that I do. People should appreciate a friend like that more. It's one thing to find a person who you can comfortably talk to, but quite another to find someone with whom you are comfortable in silence. When we do talk, conversation is easy. Halma is deaf, but the device around her neck comfortably translates everything that is said to her in thumps, clicks, and vibrations that she can understand and respond to with ease. After our trip to Ruin, at which they introduced me to some of their contacts in the delving market, I've got missed a word here, and showed me around, I asked if they would think about coming on board with me. They are a doctor after all, and they know the dangers of my work. They told me they had standards and refused to work in the cargo hold, so I had to get a med bay first, and we will see that when we look at the ship. But beyond a quiet distaste for my line of work, they cause me no real issues. She does have an air of mystery, however. At first glance, you'd think her comfortably middle-aged, but she often talks as if she has been alive for centuries. The Kesnir are well known for their long lives. I've not quite plucked up the courage to ask yet, however. Of course, there is the shedding cycle native to Kesnir kind. They cannot stay comfortable in their scales and hair for long. I wish Halma hadn't taken quite so long to tell me how they suffered when it was time to shed, but when Dax found out about it, he was very firm. He even lets them use his makeshift watery quarters to be more comfortable, then cleans up afterwards. Halma has that gift. They inspire kindness in everyone. So that's Halma, our lovely doctor. I've mentioned Dax in a couple of these bios, and we're going to meet Dax now. And Dax is, when I pulled for Dax, Dax is the reason that I actually have 4 crew members instead of 3, because the traits that Dax has are amphibious, so the crewmate will lose 1 health per journey unless the ship has aquatic quarters. Notably, my ship does not yet have aquatic quarters because I thought it would be narratively interesting to build up to getting aquatic quarters and kind of dealing with that, dealing with Dax's poor needs as I do that. Dax has come from a warrior culture and so gets the combat skill, hence why they have 2 primary skills and 1 secondary. And Dax also got the trait paired. So, this crewmate is actually 2 people who are so tight-knit that they come as a package deal. Create an extra crewmate who has this trait plus 2 other traits. And I thought that was really cool, and I was a really big fan of that. So I have created another crewmate, and we will meet them soon, but they will be mentioned here. Of all my crewmates, Dax is the one I find most difficult. Useful, of course. He's muscular and knows how to handle himself in a fight. He works very well under pressure, like I do, but that's about all we have in common. I like him well enough, though. When he isn't moving all my shit around without my permission, he calls it tidying, or throwing his weight around too much. I know he used to be military, high ranking, I think, and I don't really know what changed for him that made being muscle for hire his only option, but he sure still thinks he's in charge sometimes. He respects my role as captain well enough, but the others, he often sees them as unruly subordinates that need to be kept in line. He gets frustrated easily too. Only Hummingbird can calm him if he's really angry. None of us know what to say. I met Dax at a bar on Port Freedom when I needed to hire some extra brawn. He told me Hummingbird had to come too, though, no questions asked. I agreed, of course. He was a bargain considering his experience. He was only supposed to stay for a week or 2, but we keep finding need to extend the contract, and he keeps bringing down his prices. I think that him and Hummingbird don't really have anywhere else to go. He's incredibly protective of her, and I've yet to figure out exactly what their deal is or how they wound up together. It's nice though, whatever it is they have. She brings out a whole other side of him. She's the only person he smiles for. Neither of us have brought up the idea of permanent yet, but I'm strongly considering it. I'd need to find him some actual quarters, better than the rusty tank he's using at the moment to hydrate his skin. But no matter how much he winds me up at points, he's not a bad person. He cares in his own way, and I honestly can't imagine my crew without him. I just wish he'd trust me enough to open up to me about what's really going on. Yeah, I was immediately like enamored by the idea of there being another crew member that he was kind of linked to in some way. So I was like, I need them to be kind of opposites though. So I created Hummingbird. She's empathic, which means once per journey she can potentially increase the happiness of a crewmate, or if it goes wrong, her happiness will be reduced to that of the lowest happiness on the ship. I thought that was a really cool trait, actually. Just like, you can increase the happiness, or it could, work the other way around. She's a nest maker. This crewmate instinctively collects things and decorates their environment. And then, as per the instructions, it told me to put paired as the other trait, so I did. So it's the same trait as Dax's. I gave her the primary skill of performer. Once per journey, increase the happiness of all performer crewmates. I thought it would just be nice if she was kind of very mood based as a character, but I gave her a secondary skill of haggler. Draw a card when buying systems. If it is a face card, reduce the cost by 10%. I was like, okay, so this is an extra crewmate. What can I do here that's interesting? How about we don't know what the species is, what her species is. I only had Hummingbird on board as an extra mouth to feed in exchange for Dax's services, which meant that initially I put her firmly in the costs category. As time has gone on though, she's absolutely proven to be a tremendous asset. She's a dancer by trade and sings beautifully too. It's quite amazing watching her feathers reflect the light, and it means she's good for morale, which means I don't have to bother myself with all that nonsense. In fact, her empathic tendencies seem to be a key function of her species. We aren't entirely sure what species that is. If Dax knows, he's keeping quiet. She's not in Valkyrie's database, and Halma, who I'm pretty sure knows everything, says she's never met anyone like her before. She's doing some research on the side to see if she can find out more. Alongside that, she's something of a hoarder. Her little nest next to Dax's tank is the only thing he leaves alone, and he yells at anyone who tries to tidy it. But it means that she's exceptional at haggling, though she's definitely got sticky fingers if you don't watch out. I don't really care. It's not like I can claim to be any kind of saint, and she's not been caught yet. Any money that she gets hold of when she performs or steals, she gives to me. And I gotta say, I like having her around. She'd be missed by everyone if she went, and I can't even imagine what it would do to Dax. The two of them as a pair are an utter enigma. While Dax is serious and solemn most of the time, Hummingbird is his polar opposite. She flies around the place with energy and optimism while he broods. She laughs, cries, and even tantrums at the smallest of things while he remains stone-faced. And yet they are indeed a package deal. Neither seem to be able to function long without the other. She helps him keep his focus and head straight, and he can cheer her up in an instant. Being apart for whatever reason induces a strange, melancholic pining that is difficult to pull either of them out of. I've never seen a bond like it, and while Dax won't talk about it, Hummingbird doesn't even seem to understand its uniqueness when brought up. It has me burning with curiosity. So that's my crew. That's my 4 members of my crew. And the whole point of this game is that it's about exploring space, and you go to all these different planets, and you go to, explore the map and fill it out, and you might put stations and different things there. But it's inspired by a book, a Becky Chambers book called, I think it's called Long Way, I always get this title wrong, A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. And I remember reading this book quite some time ago. I actually used to run a book blog before I got into the TTRPG community. And it was one of the books I read and kind of reviewed on that book blog. But it was a really incredible book. I didn't really tend to like sci-fi all that much, or it was okay. I enjoyed it, but I didn't tend to find a lot of sci-fi stories that I felt were like particularly standout or unique, because I read a lot of YA, and as you can imagine, a lot of them had a lot of the same themes. So when I read this one, I remember just being really enamored by it. It's a really gorgeous book, and what it is interesting about it is it focuses on the differences between the sort of the alien species that live as a crew on this ship. It focuses not just on their physical differences, but on their kind of cultural differences and the way that they function, their family dynamics, their like how they are as a society, and how that can cause kind of like friction and connection within a crew when they are all put together as a crew. And it made me cry when I read it, to be honest. It was a really gorgeous book, and this game is really heavily inspired by that. So this game, when you're journaling, it's not really just about the exploration of space and kind of finding different things in space and doing all these jobs. It is really about understanding the connections between your captain that you're kind of journaling from the viewpoint from, who is always human. You create them as a human. And then your crew members are always different sort of types of aliens. And I find that an absolutely fascinating concept. I thought that was really, really cool. So I was very excited when I created my crew. I think the crew creation was probably my favourite part of it so far. Next up, I'll briefly go over it. I'll briefly go over it. We then create the ship. Let me come out of this. As you can see, like I said, UI of this website is a little clunky. But yes, I have base stats for the ship. So as you can imagine, you might end up getting into combat. Your ship might end up getting damaged. So you have like a hull kind of hit points. You also have cargo slots that can be filled up. You have an amount of fuel. There isn't a limit to how much fuel you can have and store on board, but you start with 20. And as you can see, I did start to play, so I'm down to 12 now from the movement that I've made. And you also start with system slots. And these are kind of like, as you build more things in, so like the aquatic chambers that I previously mentioned that we're going to have to get for Dax at some point, that will take up system slots. Your ship, you track food as well on your ship, so I have different types of food. Each crew member, you get to choose what they eat, and do I have that written down somewhere on there? I know I have it written somewhere, but I might not have written it down on this bit, which is a bit of an oversight of mine when I'm thinking about it. But I know that Halma eats meat, but particularly likes insects. I think a couple of them are omnivores. Yes, the rest are omnivores except Hummingbird, who just eats sort of plant matter, doesn't eat meat. And then the systems that I've chosen. So you start with a basic cargo hold, a basic bridge, and a basic engine. They do not count towards the system slots used up because every ship has those. You can see here that I don't have a basic engine, I have a racer engine, because when you begin the game, you're given a certain amount of money that's not part of your 1,000 credits that you start with, that you have kind of like used to already have started upgrading the ship, because obviously the idea is that you are throwing yourself into a story where you have a little bit of history with these crew members. Your ship already has some things on board and has some stuff going on. So I felt like it was appropriate that that Sophia would have already upgraded the engines to be racer engines. So I don't start with a basic engine. I start with racer engine. So I have taken up a slot with that. So one of my 6 slots has been taken up by a racer engine. Each system has a number of hit points. Some of them have requirements, like here, you cannot have more than 5 systems if you've got a racer engine. That excludes starting systems. So that means that actually, even though I have 6 slots, I can only have 5 out of 6 while I have the racer engine. Otherwise, I have to go back to a normal engine. And I would not be able to have a hauler's cargo hold. Those two things don't make sense with each other. A hauler is like a kind of a very slow moving ship that can carry lots of big heavy things, and a racer engine doesn't quite make sense with that. the effect is that I can let my ship move. Normally, you do 2 fuel. So every cycle, every day, you can move 1 hex and it costs you 2 fuel. So it takes you a bit longer to get places. It's cost me the same amount of fuel, but it means that in 1 day I can actually move 2 hexes. But it will cost me 4 fuel instead of 2. So I'm using the same amount of fuel per hex, but it means I get to the place a bit faster per cycle. The basic bridge gives you the ability to navigate. If this gets completely damaged, your ship is then rendered adrift. It can still use its other systems, but you can't navigate anywhere. And there is like a little page of like what happens when you're adrift. How do you figure out like where you go? Because I think essentially it means that you can't choose your journey. You are basically relying on dice rolls as to where you end up. Basic cargo hold. Gives you 36 cargo slots. Additional, so this is the things that I chose, apart from the racer engine. I chose to put a med bay on. That kind of lined up with Halma's story. So I said that, you know, she had standards. So I put a med bay in there. If any crewmate has the doctor skill, that is Halma, then you may access the doctor service whenever you like. So you don't need to be on a planet that has it. Also, if a crewmate is reduced to 0 health, you may draw a card to save them. Red, success, revive them with 1 health. Black, there was nothing we could do. Ouch. Like, truly ouch. Hello, Crossroads of Fate, and thank you. This is using a site called Campfire Writing. I saw a few other people. I'm a member of Anna Blackwell, who is the creator of this game. I'm a member of their server, and a few other people had used this. And I thought it looked like a really cool. You can kind of choose a sci-fi mode, and it gives you all of the formatting for it. And then it allowed me to kind of organize it, and I have been very, very busy organizing this, but welcome, and I hope that you enjoy the story too. So I have the med bay, and I also have a homely kitchen because I just felt like I have a good chef. It would be cool to give them a nice kitchen to work from. If any crewmate has the chef skill, you may increase happiness of all crew and passengers by 1 once per journey. At the moment, like, everyone's at top happiness, everyone's at top health. We've only really just started, but as the game goes on, these stats will become really vitally important in making sure that your crew stays happy and healthy. And so giving myself any little edge that I can to keep them that way is always going to be a good thing. To give you an idea, obviously I've already mentioned that 1 cycle equals 1 day. 1 journey is essentially the when you go from one planet to another. So every time that you stop at a planet, you finish a journey, essentially. So that's just to bear in mind that whenever it says once per journey, it means in that kind of like big travel distance where you are going from destination A to destination B, which makes sense, but I was a little confused by it when I first played, so I just wanted to clear that up in case anyone else was. And that's where I kind of am with like the initial building of everything. That's where your creation part ends. You have created your captain, whose viewpoint you will be journaling from. You have created your crew, who you will be interacting with on your journey, and you kind of have created like backstories with your if you choose one with like your different contacts that you are given, if you have backstory that gives you those, and then you have kind of started to build your ship. Notably, as I have already said, I'm a racer. In order to be able to take part in races, you need a shuttle. In order to have a shuttle, you essentially need a system called, now let me get it right now. My ship doesn't have it, and I've made that for a reason. That's obviously like at the beginning of this my ship was being stored upon the Mercutio, which we've kind of already established. My little shuttle was being stored upon there, and that has gone up in flames. But let's find out exactly what it's called. It is called... I'm not going to be able to find it now, am I? Shuttle Bay. It's a shuttle bay, so you ever wish you could nip down to a nearby planet, you need that shuttle bay basically to be able to have a shuttle and go racing. That is a really large bay, and it costs 3. It costs 3 system slots. That's going to become a point of contention later on, because my ship has 6 altogether. But if I want to keep my racer engine within my ship, then I can only use 5 of them, which means something is going to have to go. So yeah, it will be interesting, and also you can kind of, as you go along, you can buy bigger ships. They're very expensive, but you can buy bigger ships with like 8 systems, and I think the biggest one, let me just actually remind myself of that. What does the biggest one have? The biggest ship is... Oh, there you go. Small ship, that's what you start off with. Medium ship has 9 system slots, apologies, not 8. A large ship has 13 system slots, and a massive ship has 30 system slots. Now, it's really important to note here as well that each of those types of ship have a maximum crew amount too. So a small ship, we are at the max crew, I believe. That's 4 crew members and a captain, so 5 in all. If I ever wanted to invite more people aboard to my ship, if I ever wanted to have more systems, I would have to pay out 40,000 currency and essentially upgrade to a larger ship. The way it talks about systems is kind of, I guess once you have them, but they take time to install and uninstall. I don't believe, and I would have to look into it now, I don't believe you would have to pay for a system twice. I think it's like you would have to uninstall it, but it would still be like in your back pocket, ready to reinstall. Or I would hope so, but that might not be the case. I might be completely wrong about that. It's not going to be something that's an issue for me for a while, because I need to get 40,000 first, and that's a lot of money. For now, the big deal is to get Dax an aquatic chamber so that he can be comfortable while he lives here. So that's where we're kind of beginning. And let me now go to, so I have my my manuscript, my little playthrough. This is where I am at with let me just pop that up so that you can see chat again, because I haven't had that down for quite some time. We are on then what I've done is I've split it into, I think I got as far as 3 cycles in, so I did like 3 days worth of stuff, because it took me quite a while to get through kind of character creation and go through that. Cycle 1 was kind of the initial journey and initial getting of the job. There was no event, as it were. Every time you go through a cycle, you roll for an event, and if you get one, then you kind of respond to the prompt. But in this case, I did not get an event, so I used this cycle 1 to just kind of talk about the beginning of the story. Then cycle 2, I did get an event, and it was a hail from another ship. So I will just read these out, and then I'm probably going to go and get a drink, and then we will continue on. And also that means I will get to show you the map, and the map is incredible, everyone. So I'm very excited to show you that. So cycle 1, so this was day 1, and let me just quickly show you. So I did actually have like a journey log, which breaks it down into very, very basic what happened. So I traveled 2 hexes. These are the resources that I lost or gained, and I've kind of highlighted them in the relevant colors. These are the moves that I ended up making, and whether there was a green hex or there was an event or not. And this is like kind of the event overview. This is kind of like what happened. To be honest, I probably could read it from here to kind of give you an idea. Yeah, so I started at Ruin, got a comm from Boris with that bounty hunting mission that you begin the game with. It will be worth 3,300 currency, which is quite a lot of money actually. And you get that by kind of, as you can see, I kind of have been pulling cards. I've written down what cards I've pulled, but there's also formulas to kind of work out exactly how much money. So it's never like the same amount of money. It's never like, oh, it's a standard amount of money. Like they're worth different amounts of money depending on what you roll and what you pull. I set the course for luck, and it was to track down this person called Victor. Cycle 2, I did pull an event. It was called a green hex event because that's down to where you're traveling in the map, which I will show you. The prompt event that I pulled was that a distress call came through and they needed help with repairs, and they offered me 100 units, 100 currency if I could repair it for them. I called the guy Bob. I called the guy that we met there Bob. I agreed to board and aid for that money. It costs 1 cycle to do that, to help them repair it. And then you roll to see how successful you are, and I drew a card, and I managed to patch it temporarily. So what I basically explained to them was, what I've done will kind of get you to a repair station, but you need to go to a repair station to have this repaired properly. I implemented a temporary fix, and I received that 100 units. That's the basic lowdown of what happened. But in terms of what happened with a little bit more detail. So cycle 1, Sophia, I've got a job for you. Boris's comm came through, as it always does, at a pretty inconvenient time. I could hear Dax and Stu squabbling about food organisation of all things. Hummingbird is singing at the top of her voice with little to no regard of everyone else, and Halma keeps softly hissing under her breath next to me every time her dancing causes a particular loud and low thump through the hull. We've not been back on board the Valkyrie long. Our visit to Halma's sister was brief, but a nice change from the cramped quarters of our ship. The problem is that Ruin is a very large, interesting, and somewhat awe-inspiring planet, and so everyone is really feeling not being in the open air and experiencing new things. I was expecting your comm 2 days ago. Less of the attitude, I don't run to your schedule. What's the job? You'll be happy, it pays well. I scoff. Smuggling? You could call it that. The goods will be a bit more talkative than you are used to. That gives me pause. Boris has never offered me a bounty hunting job before. They pay well, but they are high risk. I'm not sure how I feel about them yet, and I've no idea how my crew will take it. The Montagues are not happy about what happened with the Mercutio. They want to help you find the vengeance you're looking for, but you'll need to help them. Your captain is receiving the best care, as they should be. Show them how grateful you are. The Mark's name is Victor. He's a member of the Benvolio's crew. He's bad for business. He was last seen on Luck. I sigh and look at Halma. Call the crew together. We have to talk. I tell them what Boris wants from us. They fall silent, and I find myself wishing for the noise back. Dax is, of course, the first to speak. We're to fetch a person alive. Kidnap? Hummingbird trills, eyes wide. Steal person? Her grasp of the common language is not the best, but it serves well enough. Stu sighs. Well, kid, it was only a matter of time before they started sending you on the bigger jobs. I nod. It pays well. I want to do it. Does anyone have a problem with that? I need to know if you do. No one does, because it pays well. But dinner that evening is quiet and awkward as we set coordinates for luck. Hummingbird especially seems affected, and she fidgets nervously while Dax continually glances up at her. He reaches for her hand eventually, and she shakes her head, getting up and walking away. I get up to go after her. Hummingbird, I call when we're out of earshot of the others. Talk to me if it's a problem. She's up still, I can tell, but she puts on a smile. No, Captain, no problem. Need money for shuttle? New racer? I sigh. Yes, eventually, but first... I check around. I thought maybe an aquatic chamber for Dax. That vat is... It's not good enough, not really. For Dax? She tilts her head curiously and processes. To stay? Yes, stay forever. You and Dax. Her eyes widen and she hops about on her feet, mood instantly lifted. I raise my fingers to my lips. Secret though, quiet. Surprise, she whispers, then giggles. Surprise for Dax. I cannot help but smile back in the presence of this ethereal, giggling being. I've often found myself questioning how Dax finds so much joy from being around her that he won't leave her side. But in moments like this, I understand completely. It happy to stay. It keeps secret. She refers to herself as it often, and Dax smiles fondly when she does. She always talks in third person. Hummingbird will help take person for Dax. She seems happy enough now, but her mood changed quickly, and I cannot help but feel that I in some way manipulated her into agreeing by bringing Dax into it. I sleep poorly that night. Then we went into cycle 2 and 3. Yes, she is a cutie, Steph. I love Hummingbird. I think Hummingbird might end up being my favourite character. Captain? What is it, Valkyrie? I ask, leaning back in my chair as the ship's AI lights up. You have an incoming comm, a distress signal. My calculations have detected some level of system failure on their vessel. How shall I proceed? Let me talk to them, I sigh. I end up getting through to a man, and he sounds relieved. He's on board with his partner and family. Oh, thank goodness. I know this is Luck's quiet season, but I didn't expect the route in and out to be quite so quiet, he jokes nervously. My AI picked up a problem your end? What's happened? Problem indeed, he laughs again. Our engines have shut down. The optimistic personality of this man is admirable but grating. I sigh again. Do you have an engineer on board? He asks hopefully. I think about turning him down, but then he adds, I won a little money at Luck. I can pay? Before I have a chance to respond, Stu comes up behind me and leans into the communication device. Prepare for boarding. Our captain is a handy mechanic. We'll get you up and running again. We'll try, I add. And if we fail, well, at least we made a friend or two, he winks. I roll my eyes. It turns out to be far more than 2 friends. They have a plethora of children on board. Hummingbird is ecstatic, of course, and instantly starts to play with them. I'm thankful for this. I'll be able to concentrate far better. Oh, sorry, friend. No guns. We're pacifists, our hosts explain, and Dax grumbles. But I nod, and he leaves them behind. I notice that he checks where he keeps his hidden knives once more, however. He likes to be prepared. Stu's easygoing charisma is an instant hit with our hosts, Jerry and Bob. They all sit and chatter for hours about the various games at Luck, and I can see Stu growing more and more excited, which is dangerous for both of us. Which is dangerous for us. We've had to run from many a casino because Stu has blown his allowance and then some to try out all the games. My eyes flick up to Dax and he smoothly interjects. Stu, perhaps our hosts are hungry. Such a catastrophe can cause stress. They may have forgotten to eat. Jerry's stomach rumbles loudly and Stu jumps at the chance to cook in a new kitchen. I identify the problem quickly enough, and I see immediately that it's going to take a part that I don't have to fix it permanently. However, I've dealt with many a faulty engine in my time, and I have some shortcuts. I approach Bob. I can fix it. Temporarily. You'll need a mechanic at Progress to provide a more permanent solution. It won't be cheap. Bob sighs. Well, there go all my winnings. But thank you. That's as far as I got. So this is to kind of cover cycle 2 and 3. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and have a little drink and a little stretch of my legs and a big old stretch of my back. And then what I will do is I'll continue on from there. I'll finish off cycle 3 and kind of finish off this interaction with these people. And then we will start to do some rolling. Hopefully we can make it to luck, maybe. And we can figure out where this mark is. There's a chance it might not happen, but there's a chance that we might get into combat during this session. So hopefully, because I've not actually fiddled with the combat mechanics. I've kind of done through the day cycle and everything like that, and gone through each day and figured out how you do that, but I've not been in combat just yet, and I've not landed on a planet, obviously, so there'll be some new things to do, so we'll see. I have seen that people have been redeeming treats for Millie, so let's just see if we can get Millie to come and get some treats. Millie! Oh, running into the room. Yes, I know. Yes. I don't know if you can all hear her meowing, but she's meowing very loudly. This is from Rara and from Steph. So say thank you. Don't take too long. Did I activate Foxy? Oh, is it because I oh no! It's because I did the bag, isn't it? Yeah. I'm so sorry. Millie, she's just looking at me like, where's the rest? Where's the rest of them? Where's the rest? You're only giving me a few? Girl, what happened here? Oh, I wasn't going to give you any at all. Where's the gratitude? Always wanting more. Right, so I will be back soon, and we will continue with this. I hope that you've kind of enjoyed my recap. It ended up being a kind of lengthy recap, but I wanted to make sure that I really got to help you guys understand exactly what character creation looks like, and sort of crew creation and everything, and how we ended up here, and then we'll just play a little bit longer and to see where we get, really. But yeah, excited. Very, very soon I will see you, and I will be back. Bye. Hi everyone, I'm back. Yeah, that's working. I'm back. Where were we? We were just about to continue with this. I have refilled my drink, hydrated up. I have made sure that Millie might have had a couple more treats and a little head scratch from me. She's downstairs now. She seems content to stay there for a little. Let's finish off this. So this is going to cover 2 cycles. So we've basically kind of got to almost at the end of cycle 2. I just want to see if there's anything I really want to. Children. Oh yeah, so they have a lot of children. Jerry and Bob. I need to re-familiarize myself with these names. I don't know why I called them Jerry and Bob. I have said time and time again, naming NPCs, not my strong point. Not in the moment, anyway. I can come up with great names if I'm given enough time to sit and think about it. But I get a little bit too caught up in like the sound, the phonetics of a name, and whether it sounds right and what it means. and it's, yeah, it just doesn't, it's not an easy process for me. But for some reason I went with Jerry and Bob here, and that's fine. So let's have a little look. We've just told them what the problem is. Don't have that part. But I have shortcuts. Cool, I can fix it temporarily. So I've told them that I can fix it, and that's probably what a lot of cycle 3 is going to focus on. Yeah, but let's kind of get to the evening of cycle 2 then. So I feel a little awkward because, in all honesty, I didn't really want to help them. Oh, it's really no problem. Honestly. And thank you for the payment. It's always very strange for me to interact with, let's put this in quote marks, good people. I've grown up around criminals my entire life. I've spent more of it in Port Freedom than anywhere else in space. And people like Bob and Jerry won't even talk about places like Port Freedom. So even in a perfectly normal interaction like this, with no nefarious intent, I still feel like an imposter. I glance at the children. A few of them are crowded around Halma, who is quietly telling them some story about an ancient civilization. The rest have fallen asleep, as has Hummingbird. Her head rests on Dax's shoulder, and he looks around the room, as he always does, as if danger may sprout at any moment. I often say that Dax Alex and I had little in common, but in moments like these, I understand him perfectly. He feels like an imposter too. We'll be out of your hair as quick as we can. I smile. The next day, I don't have to face the family too much. I'm under the ship's floor, amongst the wires and the pipes, where I feel far more at home. When I'm repairing, I do my best thinking, and the upcoming prospect of hunting for my first bounty dominates my mind. When I was a kid, I thought bounty hunting sounded exciting and fun. I imagined daring escapades across the galaxy, racing after bad guys. Well, badder than me at least. And bringing them back to Port Freedom to make millions. But now I have to consider the practicalities. Live cargo on the ship that doesn't want to be there is no joke. It poses a danger to me and my crew. We haven't had time to really discuss it, but we should. We need a plan. In a way, though, it's a blessing that we've been asked to bring Victor to the Montagues alive. I don't know that killing someone person would quite sit well with the others yet. Even Dax. If it upset Hummingbird. Let's have someone come and chat to us. Who haven't we really seen from? Maybe Stu? Stu comes to find me. Sandwich in hand. Hours into my repair. I thought you might be hungry. I am. Thanks. Brooding again. I smile fondly. I don't brood. In Discord then. I think. Same shit. This bounty hunting stuff is bothering you. Huh? I didn't think it would. But if I'm going to find the person that destroyed the Mercutio and killed Eric, then I'm going to have to practice, aren't I? I suppose so. We all will. Stu sighs. It was only ever thieving and heists with Stevie. I'm out of my depth here too. I'm out of my depth here too. I bite into the sandwich. It's delicious. Obviously. What about the others? I expected Palmer wouldn't like it, but she'll do it. She cares about you. We don't need her to be actively involved. Just on hand if we get hurt. Dax will. He probably has experience in this kind of thing. he'll be fine. And Hummingbird, well, she's a mystery. She clearly hated it. I think it touched on something personal. But she cares about Dax. And she likes us. And maybe bounty hunting isn't safe, but it's safer than the world out there, or the universe, I should say, because we're in space. A bit safer than the universe out there. It's the safest she can get, and that will be enough for her. We need a plan for when we get to luck. And for when we acquire the goods. And we'll make one. He's smart. But maybe not while we're here with Jerry and Bob. Huh? I nod. Thanks for the sandwich. Now let me work. Aye, aye, Captain. He grins and leaves me to it. The conversation leaves me on edge. I fix Bob's ship. And he's overwhelmingly grateful. He tries to give me his com ID, and I settle for taking a card just to get him off my back. I wish you good fortune with your gambling at luck. Hopefully your journey out will be smoother. I wouldn't bank on it. Dax mumbles quietly, and I snort. Stew takes over the pleasant goodbyes, and we return to the Valkyrie. Ready to move. Let me remind myself, actually, because we haven't looked at the map yet, and this is quite an exciting part of this game. Look at this, everyone. So, oh, I don't know. Ooh, no, that's too much. Hold on, can I just click fit? Yeah, there we go. I was like, how do I do this? So let me, do you know what? Let me get rid of both of us. There we go. So look at this map. Okay, so I have popped our ship. You can see where planet number 6, Luck, is, and our ship is, that's what I thought it was. It's 2 pins away. So actually we will arrive on Luck in the next movement. You can see it's divided into segments. The way it works is if you are drawing cards to basically end up in a place or start in a place or trying to find a location. So often when you have missions, it's like, draw a location, and you have to draw cards to find out where on this map it is. You will draw 2 cards. The first card, you look at what suit it is, and if it's a red suit, it is on the left half of the map, and if it is a black suit, it is on the right half of the map, and you find the number and follow it along, and then you look at the other card and basically just look at what number it is and follow that down, and that is where you end up. So when I drew, I ended up starting at Ruin, which was cool, and then when I drew for which planet the bounty was on, it was on Luck, so I was like, oh, that's really close. So yeah, but we are literally 2 spaces away. My racer engine means that I can move 2 hexes for 4 fuel towards Luck and land there. So we will be landing at Luck on our next cycle. So what I love about this map as well is it has the little the references down the bottom there. So you have the travel sequence. So that basically tells you how to take a turn. So once you've finished your sort of journaling, you move to the hex that you want to move to. So I will be moving towards Luck. You reduce the fuel by the amount required by your engine. So mine will be 4 fuel. Hello, Jenburb. How are you doing? You reduce the food by 1 per crewmate. I have a chef, which means that even though there are 5 members of our crew, including my captain, we will actually only be reducing the food by 4. Then you mark that a cycle has gone by, and roll to generate a travel event. Now, I actually need to have a little look to see what happens when you land on a planet. I imagine that events are a little bit different there. And I also need to go through and see if something happens when I go onto a planet with any of my with any of my crew members' various skills and things like that. Racer engine, so good. Yes, I'm playing a racer, Nicholas Lake. That is the adolescence that I chose for my captain. So I felt like, I know that the big ship is different to the shuttle, but I felt like a racer engine fit and made sense. Do a luck event instead, more fun. That's what I'm thinking. I'm obviously landing there just to actually start to look for a bounty. But I figure what I can do is I can land there, and I can say that we kind of land there towards the end of the day, and then the next day is like us looking for the bounty, I guess. So that's probably how I'm gonna do it. But let me have a little look at what I'm doing. So yeah, that's the cool map. Okay, So let's do each of these things. So I'm going to, is it going to let me move this? Have I set this up so that it can move? Yes, I have. Oh, look at me go. So we are moving over here onto luck. So here we are. We're going to reduce the fuel. So we're going to reduce by 4 fuel. And we're going to reduce 4 food. So let's go over and do those things. I'm in the wrong section here. What did I say? Fuel. That will be under this. That will be under the Valkyrie here. Move that there. This UI is a little clunky. I keep saying it. So that's going to be 4 fuel. That brings us down to 8 fuel. But that's okay because we have actually landed at a planet. So that means I can fuel up once I think I'll do all the fueling up and everything like that once I've dealt with the bounty and everything like that. But once I've landed on this planet, then fuel is possible for me to get to. I also need to reduce by 4 food. So far what I've been doing is I've been reducing, because my lovely Halma really enjoys insects, so I've reduced, let's reduce that down to 2, so we've only got a couple of insect type foods left. I know that hummingbird is plant, so, but let's just have everyone do plant. So I'm doing 4 food, which is 3, so 11 minus 3 is 8. So sorry. It is 10:30 at night over here in the UK, so my maths is not so good at that time of night. Okay, so we still have some food left. Probably not 21 anymore, is it? 7, 8 plus 2 is 10. Ooh, hold up. Did I not change that up? I must not been changing that as I go, because I'm way under. Oh no, I'm at 17. That's not actually that bad. Cool. So we have 17 food left. 100%. My crew always shows up on planets and stations in time for dinner. Yeah, I think that's how I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do that, and then I'll do a luck event just to get like a sense of what a planet event looks like, and then we'll start like the bounty hunting the next day, because the way that the bounty hunting works is like you are tracking and you are drawing to see if you find the person, or if you find someone that knows where they are, or if you absolutely fail to do so, or whatever. So that's that. Then we have marked a cycle. Now we're going to figure out what event happens, and also let me have a real quick look through my characters and just check that there's nothing that immediately happens when we like land on a planet or something like that. I just want to check. So I know I don't pay for fuel, food, and docking. That's good. And draw a second card. Okay, that's not applicable. Okay, none of those are applicable. Bear with me, guys. I'm sure it's like you know, you play more and more, you get to know like your traits better and better. Once per planet, gain a random mission. Okay, so I could probably do that as well, like get a random mission from this planet that Stu would have found as we kind of get there. Or draw a card and gain currency equal to its value. I think a random mission at this point sounds probably more fun, right? I think currency equal to its value. So then the most amount that you would be able to get would be like 13 currency, which is not that high in the grand scheme of things, but that's fine. Draw a card and gain food equal to its value once per journey. Yeah, I could do that too. I could definitely do that too. We could get a couple of... Oh, okay, food equal to its value. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm thinking that missions are way more fun than currency handouts, because you can get currency from like completing the missions, right? And then it kind of gives you like a little. I've only got one mission on my board right now. Let me just put my camera back up so that you can all see me. Yeah, I've only got one mission right now on my board, so I just feel like getting some more missions might be kind of fun to kind of play around with and see what they want us to do. So let's get some food. So okay, let me draw my food card. What's that? That's 6. So I'm gonna gain 6 food. So I must remember that I did that. Cool. I can actually write that down, can't I? Here. In my little log. So let's go cycle 4. Okay, so I did -4 food and I gained 6. So actually what I'll probably do is I'll just say like +2. I'll change all the colors and everything later. +2 food, and I will probably end up putting that food back, won't I? So +2 food, +1 mission. Let's see, how do we generate a random mission then? That's going to involve me looking at my thing. That was so vague. Looking at my thing. Mission generation. There's even a place for it right here. I've said it once and I'll say it again. This is a massive book, by the way. This solo game is actually there's like 250 plus pages on this solo game. It's really big. There's a lot here. But it's every time I go, oh, how do I do this thing? And I start to search in it to find it. I always find a page that's literally entitled with exactly what I need. So I never need to sit and look for a really long time to find the information that I want. I just tend to find it very quickly. So, mission board 140. This, yes. Bear with me, everyone. Okay. You have the option of browsing the mission board to see what missions are available. So we're going to dock at a planet. There is the option to do that. I won't do that immediately. I'm going to probably just get this one mission just to see how this works, and then once we've done all the tracking and everything, then we'll look at the mission board before we leave. Actual dockside bar, government official. Blah, blah, blah. So you roll to see how many missions are available. We already know it's only going to be one. You draw a card to determine what type of mission using the table opposite. Okay, so cool. So I get to draw a card. And let's see what I get. This will be interesting. It is a jack of diamonds. Oh, a diplomacy mission. That's interesting. Roll 1d6 to determine the mission class. Now, I only have an F in everything except criminal. So let's see how this goes. 1 is an F, 2 is an E, 3 is a D, etc., etc. I rolled a 3. So it's a D class diplomacy mission, so I might not be able to do this. Unless did it say specifically that it would be of a class that I can do. If you are in the same or higher class as a mission and are interested in it, follow that mission's generation instructions on the relevant page to get the details. Oh, so then that means I guess I can't do it then. I guess I can't do it. Let me check that. Let me check that particular trait as it's written in the book. I just want to check that it doesn't say generate a mission of your class, because that would be key if it did. So I think it's charisma, right? Once per planet, gain a random mission or draw a card and gain thing equal to its value. So I think, yeah, so I think that means that I've gained a mission, but I cannot actually perform this mission because it is a D class mission and I am not D class. That's okay. There's plenty of other ways that we can gain missions. So that's fine. Let's go back and continue quickly looking at our characters. So stew, I got the food, so I need to +2 food. I need to +6 food actually. Let me quickly do that on my Valkyrie. Food. So I am gonna just immediately add this back on. 3. Well, let's make it 4. Let's make it 2 of each. Let's just do that. So that's gonna be 10, and that's gonna be 9. So that's my +6 food that I gained. Hammer. Does Hammer have anything? Nope, that's all to do with health. Dax. Nope. Draw an extra card. Oh, draw an extra card during fights or dog fights. That would be very useful. You may generate 1 extra mission on the job board. Okay, so when we do get round to doing job board stuff, I will be able to generate an extra mission to whatever I end up rolling, which will be fun. Hummingbird. Do you have anything? Once per journey. A lot of this is once per journey, which is... Yep. I'm not blowing a system. Once per journey. Oh, once per planet. Ah, okay, once per planet, draw a card and gain 10 times its value. Yeah, let's do that now. We're arriving in the evening. They're doing like, I think this is a good planet for dancing anyway, but we'll look at that in a moment. So we're arriving in the evening. Let's just draw a card and gain that so that I don't forget to do that thing. So, ooh, a king. That's not bad. King. So what's that? That's 10 Jack Queen Kings. That's 13. 13 times 10 is 130. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Hummingbird. Hummingbird pulling through here with the money. I think I'm going to have to go back here and head on to overview to get my currency. So that's going to now become 1,130. And this journey log is now going to say plus 130. Oh, no. There we go. Cool. So that's what they can all do. Let's draw our luck event, and then maybe I will generate the mission board as well, because then we have everything in front of us. So, to do that, here is where we have arrived to, which I kind of showed you earlier. Luck. Opulent space station that holds the distinct honor of being the most popular casino in the entire galaxy. Some of the most famous sapients got their big break right here. So, big opportunities over here. Luck is always in need of entertainment. Any crewmates with the musician or performer skill, I have a crewmate with the performer skill, can work and gain 50 currency per cycle. Ooh, that's good. We've arrived here now. And, well, she just gained a lot of money, but that would be on top, right? Because that's once per, like when you initially arrive at a planet, you can gain that extra, and then every extra day that we stay here, we also gain 50. Unique services found here. Oh, yes. Dice, cards, and more. What's the point of coming to Luck if you aren't going to test yours? There are many different games available to the discerning visitor, and who knows, you might even win some. See gambling for more. So we can gamble here. The rich sapients that visit Luck like to bet on everything from fights to races to ridiculous wagers. To place a bet, see betting. So there's gambling, there's betting. They kind of come under the same umbrella, really. You can go to a burlesque show, which is 90 currency per ticket. Alien burlesque is always a delight, I'm sure. Even for other species who might miss out on the specific subtext or intended meaning, it can be fascinating just to watch and learn. Draw a card for the show and a card for each crewmate who goes. If any match in terms of suit or number, then increase their happiness by 4. Okay, otherwise increase their happiness by 2. That's really interesting. I like that. Fence, a lesser publicized part of Luck. These business-minded criminals will buy illegal goods for 150 currency per unit. It's a shame I don't have any illegal goods on me right now, because I could sell them pretty well here. The services available here, I can't fit any systems here. I can't make any repairs here. There is a doctor here, and there is... That's possibly going to be good. I do have a doctor, but just in case. And there is a racing circuit here, hence why we can bet. Cool. So Luck itself, pretty interesting place. In terms of its events, I'm now going to draw for one. So let's see what we get. Let's see what we get for Luck. Okay. Planetary events. Oh, okay. So it's literally just like, it's not to do with suits. It's literally just to do with the numbers. So it's whatever number I pull from here. So let's see what I get. I got a queen. I'm drawing a lot of face cards. They are all different suits though, which is unusual for me. Normally I'm terrible at shuffling cards. So queen, you see. Oh, now this will be interesting. You see the leader of a well-known but untouchable crime family. You can easily avoid them, or if you have completed any crime missions, you can introduce yourself. If you do, they offer you a crime mission that targets Luck itself with the connections reward. If you decline the mission, lose 2 criminal reputation. Now that would be interesting. That would be really interesting. I don't feel like I would see the crime family that I report to. I don't know if I would necessarily see them here, because otherwise why have they sent me after this person if they're here already? Though, I mean, they are powerful, so they would rather have someone else do their dirty work, I suppose. But if they were here, they could probably send, you know, their people that have come with them to just go and get this person. So it makes no sense for them to be here. there's a chance I could do the rival crime family could be here, or a completely different one. My crime families are last time when I played this, we kind of got, like I said, we got a little bit Shakespearean with it, and we went Montagues and Capulets, but they're not necessarily the only crime families. There might be others. I would have to I would have to think of them. I could see getting a little Shakespearean again. So what do we think? Should I make it the leader of the Capulets, or a prominent person in the Capulet family, or should I think up a different crime family? I don't know. Obviously, in terms of the game's mechanics, it doesn't have any like bearing if they're from a different crime family. I can definitely make something narratively interesting if it turns out that they offer me a job. Because then I'd either have to lose 2 criminal reputation to turn them down, or I would have to do it and potentially annoy my crime family. I reckon I'm probably just for ease's sake, I'm probably just going to try to make a different crime family that's not the Montagues or the Capulets, but just like a prominent person that is from a smaller but still powerful crime family. So let's think. Let's go Shakespeare again. Shakespeare. Like, what is the... I want like a good surname. Montagues and Capulets is a pretty good surname. Doesn't have to be from Romeo and Juliet. I've got a lot of Romeo and Juliet stuff going on in this, actually. I could go for like or I could go for the Baraccios. The Baraccios, because Baraccio is like a villain in Much Ado About Nothing. So maybe that one. That might be fun. Yeah, let's call them call it the head of the Baraccios. It's gonna offer me a crime mission. That targets luck itself with the connections reward. So I want to understand that a little bit better. What is the connections reward? I'm not really seeing where that is. There's a lot of like, the rewards tend to be monetary rewards. Yeah, I can't find that actually. So I'm not sure what that is. They offer you a crime mission that targets luck itself with the connections reward. Let me go and look at the crime missions and just see if it's written in there. It might give me like, it might mean that it will give me like a criminal contact, a new criminal contact. That's possible. It does specifically say the connections reward though, so I'm not 100% sure what that is. I can't find it anywhere in the book. All right. Well, let's note that down anyway. So I'm going to meet, and it does say I can choose to. Do you know what? Actually, what might be more interesting is it does say you can choose to try to avoid that person. So I think actually that I am going to make it the leader of the Capulets, and I'm going to say that I'm going to try to avoid being seen by them, essentially, because they are the enemy. Let's simplify it a little bit this time around, because I think that's still a compelling story. All right, so what have we got? New galaxy. I'm on luck in that map. Let's say no, wrong thing. For cycle or arrival at luck. Oh. Arrival at luck. So we're going to do that, and then did I say? Yeah, I said that we could generate the missions board. Oh no, let's leave that for now. So we're going to arrive here, and we're going to arrive here at dinner time. Our lovely she got me another 50, didn't she? Let's pop that in. I can remember how to make maths. Let's do that. So, Hummingbird is dancing. Stew is getting food. And it might be worth looking at the job board and just kind of doing that bit. Getting the lay of the land. Let's do that. So we know that we're going to see someone interesting here. And also we are going to, yeah, let's generate the missions. Let's do it now. So if I'm remembering correctly, we have to roll to see how many missions there are going to be, and we get one extra because of Dax has the linguist skill. So we are rolling 2d6. That's a 4 altogether, so 5, including Dax's linguist skill. I draw a card for each to determine what type of mission is there using the table opposite. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's okay, so 5 of diamonds, cargo, cool. Jack of clubs, a bounty hunting mission, excellent. 6 of hearts, cargo. So we've got 2 cargo missions and a bounty hunting mission. 7 of hearts, passenger, and queen of clubs, bounty hunting. So 2 bounty hunting missions, 2 cargo missions, and a passenger mission. Got it. And then let's actually see if we can do any of these. So we're gonna roll. So what was it? 5. So we're gonna roll 5d6, and if any of them come out, let's do it one at a time. So cargo. Nope, can't do that one. Nope. 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 Nope! We're not available to do any of those. If you're the same or higher class as a mission and are interested in it, follow that mission's generation instructions on the relevant page. The mission board refreshes every 10 cycles. If you cannot accept any mission, then you may have to try another planet or pass time exploring and earning currency via the opportunities listed for each planet. Cool. So that's where I'm at. So actually I think that makes things very simple. But yeah, it's kind of a shame not to put more things on our job board. But the good thing about being the kind of the way I've grown up, or the pirate kid childhood that I've chosen, is it means that I do actually automatically get some crime missions given to me every 10 days, every 10 cycles. So I will get missions kind of come in, but it will just be a case of getting them from trying to get these to go to another planet, basically. But cool, so I cannot do any missions. That's fine. That is fine. Alright, let's go to the playthrough then, and let's write this manuscript. So, arrival at Luck. You always make the charismatic crew member's mission a mission level that you can do, so there's something new. Yeah, it doesn't specifically say to do it, but I do actually think that that's not a bad shout, to be honest. Because then you do have that. So I did, what did I, that was a diplomacy one, wasn't it? Because it would be quite nice to get some new missions. Like, obviously I'm a bounty hunter, so bounty hunting missions are always great, and I've kind of got a bit of a criminal background, and getting those crime missions will be fun. But I do like the idea of kind of exploring the other aspects of the game with all the research and everything like that. I have crew members that are interested in those things too, and would probably really like those. So what about then? That's not a bad shout, Nicholas. Like, let's maybe do that just so I get something on the board. I do remember it was a diplomatic mission, so let's generate a diplomatic mission and say that that worked out fine. And diplomacy. Oh, I don't know if diplomacy is going to be the strong suit of my. Okay. Yeah. Gotta find it now. Diplomacy mission. This is all sales mission. I don't think I ever want to do a sales mission, to be honest. Like, oh, corporations, man. Okay, diplomatic mission. Your captain or crewmate must have the diplomat skill. Oh, I don't think any of us have the diplomat skill to undertake a diplomatic mission. Unlike other missions, yeah, we can't do this. We can't do this. We can't do this. That's fine. You know what? It's fine. When I next am on a planet, I will get them to do it. Unlike other mission types, yeah. So this is specifically if you have like a diplomat, which I do not, and that's okay. That's okay. This is good. This is learning. This is learning. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have it that they'll speak to someone and someone will be like, oh, you can help me, and then it will turn out, no, actually we can't because we are not diplomats. Cool. So we arrive at Luck just as it's time for dinner. I don't know why I've capitalized dinner. Everyone is a little restless. And eager to be off. Things feel tense on board. We know that danger is almost upon us. Rabbit luck, it's time for dinner. As we land, though, I can see the nerves setting in. Though Stew tries hard to counteract that with his usual positivity. I know a great restaurant. Best chef on the station, I promise. Makes an incredible seaweed soup straight from Wavecrest. That is one of the names of the planet. You all got to try it. And there's snails for you to counter. I let him ramble and peruse the large billboard at the docking station that contains the various missions people might have for us. There's nothing there interesting, at least nothing I can do with the size of the ship, crew, and experience we have. That's okay. We have bigger fish to fry. At dinner, Hummingbird's tension seems to ease. She is amazed by all of the lights and showmanship around her, and chirrups with delight at a troupe of dancers that make their way by mid-performance. She even joins in, much to the delight of the crowd. I can see she'll make some good money for us here, and she's determined to do so if it will get Dax those chambers that he will need. At one point, she jabs a finger towards a large digital poster and squeals. Dax smiles. Ah yes, Arabella. Arabella! Arabella! Hummingbird has posters of Arabella all over the ship. She's a famous dancer, perhaps the most famous dancer in the known universe. And she's something of a deity here on Luck. Hummingbird loves her. She wants to dance just like her and spends hours watching hollow tapes of her performances while sitting in her nest. Ducks sometimes nicknames her Arabella, and she giggles with delight when he does. No one else is allowed to call her that though. Let's break that a little bit there. After dinner, we get to work. Let's get rid of that. Okay. After dinner, we get to work. No, Genverb, I do not want cheap viewers. I'm okay, thank you. I'm doing okay without them. Stu disappears off to talk to his old friend, the chef, and a guest of theirs. Hummingbird joins in on another performance, and luckily they take it in very good spirits. They offer her a spot as one of their troupe has fallen ill just for the night. She makes a killing in tips. Let's go back to Stu actually, and a guest of theirs. He picks up some food, of course. He always does. And his friend is clearly generous because he doesn't charge him. Yeah, let's go back to Stu. He also tries to pull me into the conversation at one point. in. I might have some work for us. Oh? I ask. My interest piqued. I look between him and the others involved. The chef. What did I call that race? Stew's race. Duxel. Is Duxel. Like stew. And his guest is human with a number of cybernetic enhancements. What should I call him? What shall we call him? If he's gonna be working in like the diplomacy. Oh my goodness, it's already 11:15. That's amazing. Oh, let's call him. Oh, let's call him Orion. That sounds quite spacey, doesn't he? This is Orion. He works for the embassy. Which one? I'm a diplomat. Orion smiles. I'm in need of some aid. Your friend said you may be able to help. We aren't diplomats. None of us. My friend. I've no experience at all with diplomatic work. And I shoot Stu a look. Orion glances between us, looking a little confused. No? He asks. But your friend is so good with words. My mistake. I made an assumption. I assumed that Jenberb, you're here properly. I'm going to be logging off soon. I assumed that. Well, anyway. Perhaps not for this mission, then. But you the ship? I do. And with room for passengers. If they don't need to be comfortable. Yes. I'm a skilled pilot. I have a doctor on board who is also an ardent historian. My bodyguard, I gesture to Dax, is a skilled linguist. None of us are trained diplomats, but still all useful skills. I shall take your, what did I call it earlier? Com ID. Perhaps I'll have something to offer you in the future. I'm always looking for new contacts from all manner of backgrounds. I raise my eyebrows and bite my tongue at the implied snobbery. Can't afford to be picky and work only for nice people. And he can't be as awful as Boris. Do you know what? Let me take Hummingbird's bit, because that seems a little bit out of... Yeah, here we go. And he can't be as awful as Boris. I head back to the ship and begin making my plans. Dax joins me. And later, the others. We begin the hunt sooner this is done, the sooner we can all enjoy ourselves again. Hopefully a bit richer. Will we have time for any games? Do you think? Stu asks, hopefully. Work hard and we'll see. I wink. He lights up. All right, well, I feel like I'm going to have to stop there. It's about 11:30 here. I have work tomorrow, so I will have to finish off there. But this has been fun. I've really enjoyed getting back into this game. I got to do a little bit more like sort of generating of missions and kind of planning and everything like that. Didn't quite get to combat, but that's okay. That might not have even happened anyway. It depends how lucky your rolls and your pulls are for when you go tracking down your target. So it was really, really cool to see what happens when you land on a planet. I really enjoyed getting a little bit further into understanding these characters, and I cannot stress enough again how much I love this game. If you joined later or you're not sure what we're playing, I've been playing For Small Creatures Such As We, which is a solo journaling game. It is also, there is a co-op mode as well. It is a sci-fi TTRPG, and it allows you to play as like a captain running a crew, and you're going through space, and you take on various missions and do things, as well as kind of building the connections with your crew members. I love how in-depth this game is. I love the gorgeous artwork. I'm going to go and find it again because I love it so much. I love this map with my whole heart. And it's a really, really interesting concept. And I think that it's a huge book. There's like about I think it's over 250 pages in this book, which is just incredible, and there's so much content, and so many different things you can do, and I kind of really love it so much. So absolutely check it out. Anna Blackwell is the name of the game's designer. I have the link that I think Moobot has just helpfully popped there for everyone to see. So follow that link and you can find the game itself on Anna Blackwell's website. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're enjoying the story. I really like this campfire writing. It's got a little bit of a tricky UI. I wish the UI was it was a little bit better. It's a little clunky, but for a free website, free piece of software, I'm pretty happy with it actually. So check that out as well, I guess, if you like that and you like that the way that is designed and the way it's all laid out. It's basically created by, you create panels, and that allows you to kind of figure out how each section looks. It's good for like world building and stuff, and it doesn't have to look all sci-fi like this. There's lots of different, I think you can reformat somewhere here when you first create it, it might be, or in view. Oh yeah, like manage themes, manage templates. So yeah, definitely check that out. But check out this game, everyone. I think you will really enjoy it. If you're a big fan of space, if you're a big fan of you can make this story, like, I think very emotional and explore some really interesting concepts, and you get to create aliens and create like planets, or kind of build upon planets that are already created, as well as creating your own. You get to go on all sorts of different types of mission, which I think is really fun. There's a bit of something for everyone. If you've watched any kind of sci-fi and you're like, oh, Mandalorian, I want to be a bounty hunter, you can be a bounty hunter. If you want to be like a pod racer, you can be a pod racer. In fact, if you're like me, you can be both of those things. You can be a like cadet. You can be, I mean, if you just look at even, let's go back to this. All the different things you can choose to be, like a pilot. You can choose to be a thief. You can choose to be, this emergent one is really cool. Let me move this so you can see. You gain an unusual power if you're an emergent, so you get like some kind of psychic power, and you might be like a test subject that's on the run. So lots and lots of really, really cool sci-fi tropes, and you can kind of make them your own, make them how you want to. Scientist. There's a deserter there as well if you don't want to just be a soldier. Minor celebrity. Really, really cool. So many different things. Even a monk. Even the monk has managed to be there. Or a corporation manager. You can be like the head of Apple in space. I don't know. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I've had a really good time. I'm gonna head to bed now because I'm very, very tired. But this has been a really fun solo spotlight session. I love this game very much. I can't wait to play more of it in my own time. I want to start expanding on these games that I play in my solo spotlight. If I don't finish them in the solo spotlight, I want to start like kind of playing them kind of offline and then posting. I've been thinking about maybe on Patreon or like even just on my blog, just posting the rest of the stories, or kind of updated written versions of the stories, so that if people enjoy the stories, they can kind of see where they end or where they go. But yeah, all ideas that I'm playing with at the moment. I hope everyone has a wonderful time zone wherever you are, and I will see you, what am I doing soon? My next solo spotlight, it begins, Halloween month is here, and I will be playing some spooky games. I've got a few lined up that I'm very, very excited to play, and I believe that the first one that I'm going to be playing is going to be Whisper in the Walls by Pandion Games. So that looks incredibly terrifying. I believe you're playing like a kind of very occult-based detective who can hear whispers coming from the walls and can understand them and kind of translate them and understand what they're saying and understand the stories that the walls have to tell you via the whispers that come out of them. But I have lots and lots of different games that I've kind of lined up for that, which I'm very excited about. So look out for October. I'm planning to come back into playing more video games. I'd love to just I want to play a little bit more Strange Horticulture. I really enjoyed that. I've downloaded a new game called Reika, which is you are playing I believe like Baba Yaga's apprentice. You get to design your own chicken hut. I want to play some creepy games over October and do a lot of creepy things. And I have a casting call out actually to be in a sort of one shot to play Fight or Fright. You can find that over on my social media at LawMistress93. That's on Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky, I believe. You can find that casting call if you wish to maybe take part. Casting call will probably open for at least the next few days. So you've got a little bit of time. But thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon, probably going to be next Thursday, for another solo spotlight. So thank you and cheerio!